of the year. Roll call, please.
Jones.
Here.
Vixen.
Here.
Clauser.
Here.
Hauser.
Here.
King.
Here.
Salvia.
Here.
Trent.
Here.
Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no scheduled presentations, so is there any public comment? Come on up to the podium. If you can give your name and your address, please.
My name is Paul Marzek. My address is 827 Garnet Court. I'm here representing Creekside Village, which is comprised of 466 residences. There is, while you're thinking and working on the budget, the new budget, I would like to bring up to the council's attention a situation which they need to consider. There is a walkway, a crosswalk between DeQuinder and Wingate that crosses over Runyon. If you're familiar with Runyon, it's a very busy road. This crosswalk connects the north and south sides of Creekside, which is the HOA, Creekside Village. We have situations where the residents cannot cross the crosswalk for extended periods of time. I've brought this issue up to Nick and to Nick Schaefer and Jason Warner and George Rahib, the police chief. They all have been very gracious and willing to discuss the issue. As a matter of fact, the police chief asked for asked TIA, which is a corporation which looks at roads and crosswalks and so forth, to do a study in that area. And they said that this is a concerned area for them. There are 4 lanes that need to be crossed, and there's a potential for another lane when Runyon is in construction. This crosswalk not only connects the north and south side, but the recreation area for the HOA, the pool, and the walkways, the trails that go from one end to this, from the south end to the north end. And in doing so, one of the suggestions from TIA, and from my perspective, the least expensive but the most beneficial, is to put flashing lights there and a button for when the children cross the road, they push the button, the lights would flash like there are trails that we have in other places in the city, so that they can cross safely. It's a big concern for the children and the grandparents who are taking their kids from the north side to the south side, for people who are using the walkways that cross through, that come to this crosswalk from the south side to the north side. This is approximately $15,000 that the city could spend for the safety of the residents in the northeast side of the city. Again, I say that the staff has been very gracious in working with us. It's an item that I think needs consideration for the new budget to be included in the budget. Are there any questions?
Actually, we just let you share your thoughts with us, and then we'll do some research in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming
Thank
out.
you.
Yep. Is there any other public comment? Megan, is there anyone online?
Thank you. We do not have anyone online.
Okay, great. All right, on to the consent agenda. Receipt of the check register reports is the only item in the consent agenda. Well, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Mayor Pro Tem and then Councilmember Trent. All set? All right, old business, there is none. Oh, we have to take a vote, sorry. Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Okay. Old business, there is not any. Public hearings, there's not any. Legislative deliberation. Consideration to move ordinance amendment, section 32-71, assault and battery to the second reading and adoption. City Attorney, is there anything new to add?
Nothing new. This was unchanged since you looked at it exactly a week ago, and it was moved for positive comments and a lot of discussion at the last meeting. So I'd be looking for a motion for to approve for second reading and adoption.
Is there a motion? Councilmember Trent, motion?
I'll make a motion to have a second reading and then on to adoption, to schedule that.
Councilmember Trent makes a motion. Is there support?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem, support?
Discussion?
Any discussion from anybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Have we received any correspondence or any public feedback on this? Okay, just because it's a sensitive topic. Thank you.
Anyone else? No?
Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Okay. Second, consideration to move ordinance amendment, section 32-311, weapons for the second reading and adoption. Anything to add, City?
Nothing. Same as the last one. It was met with positive comments at the last meeting, and I'd be looking for a motion for second reading and adoption on this one as well.
All right.
Councilmember Trent?
I will make a move to move this ordinance amendment, section 32-311, weapons, for the second reading and adoption.
Motion by Councilmember Trent, support. A second by Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? No? Okay.
Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
All right, very good. Moving on to reports and regular business, we have Jason coming up to discuss the consideration of a request to approve the Kiwanis Area Playground Project and award the contract to Snyder Recreation. Shoot, I wanted it up there.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, so this is for the Kiwanis Area Playground. We talked about it a week ago with the budget surplus funding. Seeking approval to contract with Snyder Recreation and to, in the amount of $285,528 to replace the equipment and the surfacing at the playground.
I think we're going to see if we can get it up there.
Okay.
Anthony, do you mind opening that up?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we can go to the website.
Well,
Yes, Jason.
So I also have Vicky from
Perfect.
Snyder here to answer any questions on the equipment that you may have.
council members, is there questions to start the discussion? Councilmember King.
I don't know that they're questions per se. And I think some of my comments will pertain to both of the playground projects that we're looking at. First of all, I'm super excited. I want us to invest in our playgrounds. They definitely need it. However, I'm a little disappointed and I do have a couple questions actually, but it is probably more for the other project that seems a little further along or has been going along a little bit further, I want to understand our process for how we went about this. To me, it doesn't feel like we sought any community input. I don't know if we had any families who would actually be using this give input. When I look around the greater Metro Detroit area and then even beyond, there's some incredible parks and playgrounds that are going around that don't necessarily have all of the traditional playground equipment, but they allow kids to engage and play in a lot of great ways. It gives them a little bit of that risk where they feel like they're taking risk, but they're being safe still. And I just think that we could be a little bit more thoughtful. I shared some ideas that I had with Jason, and Jessica and I had just some discussion on this. So maybe, I don't want to necessarily pull the two together, but I think my questions kind of cover both. I want to understand how we went about this. Has there been input? Maybe I've missed it. I know this grant we received on the other project came about several years ago. I had asked for plans a number of times, that I'd love to be involved and give feedback. And it's a huge upgrade. I'm grateful. It's a huge upgrade from what we have today. But I think we could have thought about, is there a theme to it? Could we do something more? I have some very specific things that I would say, I don't think we should have that, or I would do this differently. But I think overall, we could have an incredible playground and park experience. Some of the ones that I've seen out there have more of a natural element to it. There's some that have they look like art features, but the kids can climb all over them. There's lots of nets involved and ropes and, or little, the rock climbing pieces. There's some really incredible things. And I just think that maybe I missed it, but we didn't do a visioning on this. And especially this second piece, I don't love that, I don't want to miss out and just drive up cost unnecessarily because we delayed the decision. But I just feel like it's just being thrown at us, and I don't know how much time and consideration we've given it. And I feel like we only get one go at this. I want to make sure that we do it right. So maybe we can just talk about the process. Maybe there was more public input that I've not heard or been a part of. But I think that's where my questions and focus is.
Why don't we see if anyone else wants to have comments, and then we'll kick it your way for discussion. Any other council members? Councilmember Clausen.
I also sent Jason some thoughts when we saw this last week. I agree with everything Council Member King said. I think there are, if you just look at some of the newer playgrounds that have popped up around us, there is a lot more innovative playground equipment, it feels like, that has more of those natural components and integrated components. And they allow kids to have more open play instead of kind of directing the up and then you go down and then you walk this way, and they're a little bit more open play, and they allow for risk, a little bit more risk, like you said, with the ropes and things. So some of those components I don't see in the equipment that we have at Ludlow or the Kiwanis shelter. And then I have kind of the same questions and concerns. This definitely needs it, and so that's exciting that we're getting this. I know Elizabeth Park also got a grant, so it's exciting to see all this happening. At the same time, we'll probably only replace the playground equipment once in my lifetime, and especially all at once. And so it goes back to the bigger, broader visioning for the municipal park and the theme and coordination that we could have between these playgrounds. And so, yeah, I same kind of echoing those thoughts, questions. Yeah.
I think just to add on to that, in comparing it to the skate park, how we did that, we had 3 iterations that they brought to us. We had a community meeting to get feedback from them, and I think that someone pointed that out, that seems like that was a good way to do that, and then this was not taken, it didn't take that same path. Any other comments, Councilmember Trent?
Yes, well, I have a daughter, but she's grown now. But I will tell you, she loved to climb, and she loved the monkey bars, so the climbing component has been missing. And, she was literally climbing our doors until I told my husband that she needed to take rock climbing because our doors were not climbing equipment. That's my input.
Sounds like everybody's commented so far, so
Anthony, why don't you walk through the first one, the big one, because that was the grant, and there was a process to that, and then we'll get into this one, so.
thank you.
Yes, yeah. Oh, how long ago it was.
Yes.
When the
Welcome to
Indians were
grant
here.
time. So I'm just going to walk through what happened between the two, and then if I miss any questions or anything, then just let me know if I didn't quite cover it. I was going to go to the second one first. Is that this one?
I think we're gonna have to
Oh,
rotate.
we're upside down.
We are like. Yeah,
Oh, some
close-
pages
close
are
enough.
right.
We'll add this for dramatic, cinematic effect. All right, so the projects themselves, the first one here is, that you see on the screen here is from Ludlow. That's the playground equipment there. That process has started, oh boy, 18, 19. We had 3 years of grant writing, and a lot that went into that one. For the public piece of that, there was a few things. One, I did talk with the users in the park. I also actually had posted signs in the park itself around the playground for the one summer, and I had the email. It was like toplot@rochestermi.org was the email address for that. So looking for feedback from talking to the users that are there, talking to anything that was emailed in. And then also, we had kind of a merge with Memorial Grove at one point that we finished. That one actually went door to door to the neighborhood adjacent to it. To try to find an input, like just what equipment do you want, anything. There wasn't anything received or sent for that one. For the designs, the all-ability components of those, since they were grant funded, we did reach out with Linda, our grant writer, to a few different, and I'm not gonna be able to say the names, I'd have to go and look them up, but it's the, like, organizations that review, like the accessibility. So they don't necessarily give input other than, it doesn't, maybe you should tweak this, maybe you should tweak this. They look at it and they said, yes, we like it, it looks good, it meets our accessibility needs for our, they were nonprofits, but for our constituents. So we did get input as far as that goes on the equipment, and then the process. It's probably a timing thing would be my guess. This was so long ago for the Ludlow one specifically that that may have been forgotten. Those kids are probably in college right now. So anyway, so now when we fast forward a little bit to this one over here, there was no visioning session for the one here because this came up last minute more when we heard during asset committee meeting and budget to where it just degraded so quickly, we didn't have any input there. So what I did is I reached out to Vicki, who's here, and she'll be able to answer any questions on the equipment and options and styling and all that. But having someone that designs these professionally, that's when I said, you know what our parks look like. You know you've designed Memorial Grove, we got the grant going for the Tot Lot one. What should this look like? We don't want to have the same thing at every single site. We want to have some different
Elements.
types of, exactly, different elements in that at the different locations. And since she's been kind of designing them and giving ideas for us, with her being the professional at it, we just relied on her for that on the design. And she can walk through any of the elements for either of the ones, the design, what's latest and greatest. She lives in the field of all of this stuff, which is really cool. And so that's kind of where that one came from. So this one did not necessarily have a visioning, unlike the other one that did with signs and door-to-doors and all that sort of stuff. But that's kind of where we came about, all circled to get to this point.
What about the grant, the guidelines as far as, we don't want it to disappear?
Yeah, that one's, we have to meet the criteria for the accessibility, barrier-free, and it's similar to Memorial Grove. We gotta have a lot of those same elements, whether we have the movement or the sound and all those features, they have to all be as part of that play set. Versus this one over here is not part of any grant. So this one is really a blank slate of any desires or, you know, if we want to do more visioning sessions again, that sort of thing, we could look at doing that. But that's kind of where we're at.
What about timing? I know this was like since 2022 possibly, that it was
That was
awarded?
when we got the award in December of '22. This was 19, I think, is when we started.
Yeah.
So is
Working through trying to get grants for a few years.
a deadline on using the grant, I guess, was my concern. Is there an expiration date?
Well, there is, it's 2030. The thing that kind of gives me a little bit of heartburn has been seeing what's going on
Right.
with grants that are being awarded and then getting pulled.
Right.
And so I do have a little bit of, I mean, Jason and I were talking
PTSD.
the other day, about, like, we should try to get this as quick as
Yeah.
possible across the finish line, meet the requirements. I mean, it's been, designed and bid twice. We ended up bidding it twice, to get that one across the finish line. And
Okay,
then the reason on the urgency side for, not really urgent for any grant-related items, it's just the annual cost
Safety
increases
and the
for the
cost, yeah.
equipment. Because each year, January 1st, it's new pricing, so, you know, it could be 5-6-ish% higher on the equipment. And then, of course, labor never goes down. So each year, when we look at getting the installation done, whoever's gonna be doing it will end up being the market rates for the installation.
okay, so I'm thinking we're going to deal with these separately. Councilmember Salvia.
Do you want to finish your thought?
No, just that, and I just thought maybe we can talk about the design of this with the expert, so we understand that a little bit more, and then we'll talk about the
Okay.
other Kiwanis.
So Anthony, or maybe Jason, or maybe city manager, the other, to me, really important element of public feedback ties into our Parks Master Plan. So can you talk to what public feedback we got during our Parks Master Plan? It was just redone. It's 2024 through 2028. So didn't it cover all of these parks?
I'm not part of that one, so I'll have to defer to Nick.
Yeah, it did, but it's pretty vanilla, to be honest with you. It was very generic, like, you need to fix the Kiwanis because it's falling apart. It doesn't meet standards. This one, they knew, I think in that report, it outlines the fact that it was a grant source and it was all ability, so it had to have the elements of that. But they didn't get into much detail. They got into more detail on Elizabeth Park, knowing that we were looking at that. They focused in on that. They assumed these three were done, the all abilities at Memorial Grove, this one, and then.
All right, so maybe I just should have answered my own question, because we've just gone through the Parks Master Plan in pretty great detail for the Elizabeth Park one. And, you know, one of the number one things is to preserve the safety and quality of the park equipment that we have. So just kind of want to keep that process in mind. Like, we do have a process. It's called our Parks Master Plan.
Okay. Maybe we go back for a minute. Yeah, we have the expert, but also, can you do the financial page? Because we talked about that, just to go through the pieces with the sidewalk being replaced and,
For the Ludlow one?
yeah, just so we have that also digested as we talk about it.
What are we starting with?
I lost my scroll.
Are we talking about Ludlow first? Oops, I-
Yeah, yeah,
It's the rotation.
because we get the grant, but there's extra
Yeah,
funding
yeah, I
involved.
gotcha.
It's that, yeah, he just passed it.
Oh,
Actually, I think you just passed it.
Actually,
It
no,
was
go to, actually.
two
go
down.
to the budget
Anybody
sheet.
notice this is?
That one right,
it's
oh,
upside
one more.
down?
One more down, that's it,
this one?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, it's been a long day.
You hope he knows.
All right, good. Yes, so, looking at the memo, I agree it is a little bit confusing. So, we'll see here that, the total project cost is $993,800. We actually have three funding sources for that. So, the bid amount from the contractor is the $767,000. And then the 10% contingency is $76,710. And then the pathway that we talked last week about repaving, which needs to be repaved now, is likely going to be a construction route off of Ludlow, and we'll probably see faster deterioration. That's 60,000. So the intent would be to have the same contractor do all of the work, including that $60,000 pathway, because they're already going to be on site. They'll be mobilized. They're doing similar work. We have unit prices in the bid. They're the sheets, prior to this one here in the packet. So we'll pay actual costs based on their unit prices, so sand and asphalt and, whatnot. Looking at the cost breakdown, total project cost, $993,800. We have $797,000 for the grant. And then the $60,000 from the pathway is intended to come out of the annual pathway replacement line item in the city budget. So if you subtract the 797 from the 993 and the 60,000, the balance of that is $136,800. So that would be what the city would need to pay to complete the project. So that would be the city's portion out of the balance surplus that we talked about last week.
I do have one question, just from the history of what's going on the multiple quotes that we had received. I know you made the decision on the one, but about earthwork. So the one quote was $19,000. The other company quoted $35,000, and the other company quoted $80,000. And my only fear is every time we dig into our soil, we're finding problems. So to stay in front of that. We're confident the soil's been tested. We feel, there's a playground there now, so I have to assume that we're fine.
Yeah, and testing's been done. One thing I should mention too is the difference from the contractor's cost and the total amount. There's around $90,000 there. That's actually for engineering services. So field inspections, additional testing once they do the site work. Once a contractor does all their site work, we'll test the ground to make sure that the soils are compacted so it can accept the weight of the equipment and the pathways and all that. So, but yes, testing's already been done on site prior to or along the process of creating the construction drawings.
Okay. Councilmember Clauser.
Is there a way to separate, I know you told me that we weren't buying the equipment directly, that the contractor that we've awarded the bid to would be buying it, and it's quoted, I think, $213,000 for what they're buying for the All Abilities equipment on Ludlow. Is there a way to separate that, or could we still give them the award so they don't have to go through the bid process again, but look at the equipment component of the bid and ask them to reevaluate that, or once you open one component of the bid, do we have to do the whole thing over again?
I think they would hold their site work pricing, if that's what you mean. So the contractor here, basically the only thing that they would be self-performing would be the site work. They decided to subcontract with Snyder Recreation. So they will come in, the contractor will come in and do all of the base and all that and get it ready, and then Snyder will come in and they'll do the rest. So if you're asking if we can revisit that equipment and just have them,
Or if since they're contracting with Snyder, maybe we don't get a say in because we just go with their overall package? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they bid what was in the construction drawings, so, I guess we could ask them. I don't know if you can get into that,
We bid out
With this one, because it's federal dollars, the short answer is no. If we change and scope the equipment differently, we have to do the RFP again.
Good question.
We'd have to change the plan.
Councilmember Hauser, did you have a question?
Thank you. That construction contingency, who monitors that? Is that AEW? And obviously, if it's not used, it reverts to owner?
Yeah, so in all of it, and that's why we have unit prices too.
Right.
We will only pay what they use. So
Right.
if there's something in there, soil or sand or whatever, and we have 1,000 cubic yards and they use 800, AEW will be monitoring that, and we will pay just for what we use, not.
And because you
on
put-
like new projects, the benefit too, as someone said, is this is already a playground. So
Yeah.
it's been dug before to have the underground put in, you're ripping out and putting in new, so that's, I never wanna say never, but I can't imagine that there's gonna be a lot of contingency used in this, cause it's existing already, so. It's like, we've already dug out the ground once, we've already put in, so it should be a lot less than, like, it completely, like when we get to Elizabeth Park, right? Nothing's been there, once you start digging, you find out what's underneath it, could be a different scenario.
So this is really it could be less, because you put a contingency already in here, the 10%, so.
For sure.
Councilmember Trent.
Yeah, I do. I work with a lot of contracts, not so much with cities, but I do. And I'm just curious, is because it's subcontracted, how did the list of equipment come up? So you send a list to the primary contractor? You said, this is equipment I want. Or did you work with Snyder and figure out, this is equipment we're going to propose? But my question is, I don't understand why you can't just swap something out and stay within the guidelines of the contract. Because it's a subcontract. That's my
It's
question.
because of how it's bid, the equipment was listed in there, or it had to have a equally, there's a word in the RFP, there's a verbiage for it, it had to be a, I'm gonna call it like design. So you could use other equipment, or you could use other items, but it had to meet the design specifications for the type of equipment. That is what was put in. The bidders, none of them chose to do anything different. They all went with the equipment that was proposed in there. But that was put as, this is the stuff we want built. Give us a price to build this.
If I may, this wasn't a design build, this was, we're gonna tell you what we want. And like Anthony, I remember we had a discussion about that. If you wanna change a likeness, but it's gotta have the same function, because the grant says it has to meet this stuff. So, now, totally different for Kiwanis.
Yeah.
We do what we want.
Okay,
But
so
this
we're-
one, they really said, when you bid it, or start over again, we know what happens when you do that, so.
Right, so we're locked in. Yeah, okay, got it.
What you're looking for is prescriptive.
For the word.
That's
I
the word.
like it.
Yeah. That's the word. There you go.
I like that word.
There you go.
It is a good word.
Any other questions or comments or motions, or do we want to have more specifics about the equipment since the representative from the company is here? What's everybody,
Yeah,
anybody?
especially if there's questions about the design and
Right.
like what went in with the elements. I know, Vicki, is that already, would you mind
I would love to.
opining?
Okay, come on up, Vicki. She's here. Maybe go back to one of the pages
yeah.
with the design, and you can talk a little bit about the design. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
How is everybody tonight?
Good.
I just wanted to kind of give you a little history from my perspective in this. This is a process that I'm quite familiar with, and the state and federal grants that we do. And you have to, in order to be able to even get a shot at one of these, you have to have a very specific proposal design, I mean, very specific. And you are, from that point going forward, you're pretty, you're not necessarily locked into that product, but you are locked into that design, because that's what the state is gonna expect to see. You don't have a lot of variance as far as, obviously the price has to stay the same. And when you start, in 2019, and here we are at 2026 almost, it's an interesting process. So that's just kind of how that works in that. What we were trying to do here with Ludlow Park is to try and provide an environment that was going to be able to satisfy the needs of kids with various different kinds of disabilities, and yet still be challenging for kids that were able-bodied. So a lot of the stuff that you see on there is accessible. I mean, that was the point of this. But there also is a lot of stuff, you see a lot of the climbing equipment, there's motion with the Comet Spinner. All of these, we try and involve, there are 7 elements of play, and we try, if the budget will afford it, we try and include all of the elements of play, and that's what we did. Now, Granted, that was 7 years ago that we started this process. But there are, it's like, the only way that I can really kind of equate this is, cars change every year, and everybody wants the newest and better thing. And you can do that, you can stop this process, and you could, reevaluate this, and in a year, it's gonna all change again. So it is, what you've got is a really sound, very, very engaging play structure and play environment, really, because you've got two areas that's going to satisfy kids of all ages and all abilities. That was my focus.
What are the ages of the two play areas?
What we do is there are two prescribed age designations, and that's 2 to 5 and 5 to 12. The 5-year-old is an overlap because there is an overlap in developmental ability at that point. But there is definitely, there's definitely a difference in how the kids play in those two developmental age groups.
Do you actually, is there signage that's put out that
Yep.
says that? Okay.
Yep. You've got two areas, one will say 5 to 12, the other say 2 to 5. You can have, actually, these signs are also custom, you can put anything, any verbiage you want on them, we usually recommend that you say, adult supervision,
Yeah, right.
requested or advised or something like that.
Right. And adults over 12 should not be riding on this equipment.
Well, okay.
It's a nice thought.
Now, one thing I did, is when you mentioned it, did remind me of that. If we look at some of the other sites around, there are options. This isn't necessarily like the one and done, right? Ludlow has, when we did designs with the seal and with Vicky, there is room to do more. So
Yeah.
if there is some, I don't know, a normal budget cycle, let's add a different thing
Okay.
for the year. We can actually just do the surfacing, the equipment, everything for a piece of equipment or a couple pieces of equipment. And we can add that onto the park area that's right just outside of this area here. Because this has all the fall zones and everything for this setup, but then we can add more on the others. Like if you look at Innovation Hills, for instance, you'll see quite a few of them, the barriers and everything, it's all one piece of equipment. It's one circle, there's one piece on it. There's a larger circle that has like 3 things on it, and I'm sure it's changed by now and added more, but you can do them a little bit more spread out area, so you didn't have to necessarily dump everything into one small area.
Can I add one more thing? One of the challenges here, if you're aware of how low that is, it gets wet a lot. So we had to be very cognizant of that and kind of keep it tight in the area because you wander too far away. Some of this is getting taken care of, I think. Nick, right, the drainage is getting fixed with that parking lot and the pathway, but we couldn't just go wild and stretch the whole parameters all the way to the community house. It's really wet over there, so. And then you get into the floodway, and they don't want you to play in the floodway, and they won't give you grant money for floodplains, so. Yeah, this one was extremely detailed, thought out. AEW did a good job getting through that process with Eagle. We went through the historic, we had to look for Indian burial grounds. We had to do everything on this one. So this shouldn't take 6 years, but yeah, this one really got scrutinized. Can't argue with the fact that 19 equipment, probably different than 25 or 26 equipment. Can't argue with that.
Councilmember King.
So I understand the kind of requirements around all abilities. This is kind of like, we've already submitted this. I'm not wanting to necessarily, restart from scratch here and potentially even risk, anything with the grant. I would love to show some of this stuff, though. I think that we thought of in terms of the natural type playgrounds and how cool it can look. I think just from an aesthetic standpoint and the open free play that it facilitates is really good. But in terms of this specific playground, I actually do think the selection here is better than the Kiwanis. It does have a lot more of the climbing structures. There were a few little things like the giant chair. I don't know how much, we don't have a cost breakdown, right? So is that really a value you might get a kid or two on there, but like, could you have had something different that was freestanding, a better piece of equipment? On the next page, there's this structure that we have up at the Memorial Grove All Abilities Park. Sorry, next one. To the right there with the yellow top. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll tell you how the kids use it. My kids really love it at the Memorial Grove All Abilities Park, but they climb to the top and they all just sit on the top. And it's like a hangout. So I've never seen a kid, like, I don't know how you would use it as a piece of equipment. It's really interesting.
The intended use?
Yeah, I don't know the intended use, but that's how the kids use it.
I want her to say.
They kind of, they like it. But you, should we think of something else? You know, we've got one. Do we need another that's just a high up hangout?
Well, that's the
Maybe
first time
that's-
I've heard that. That's very interesting. I can tell you how it's supposed to be. It's an accessible wheelchair swing. So a child in a wheelchair who is at that height can get themselves into that swing all by themselves, and then they can actually propel the swing independently without any help.
In like, do they sit in the wheelchair in it?
No, they transfer themselves
Yeah.
from the wheelchair to the swing. And once they get in there, if you notice there are handles on the sides, they can actually push themselves back and forth without any help.
Okay. The handles are like way up here
But
though.
that's how you get the thing going. And so if you have a child that is, generally, if you have a child that's wheelchair bound, they have pretty good upper body
Yeah.
strength because they're propelling their wheelchair. So that's what that
Oh,
motion.
okay.
So I get that. I don't think you can sit and reach those handles, because my kids are 4 feet tall, and they stand and reach those handles, and then they pull themselves up because they're gymnasts, and then they climb to the top. So I don't think anybody's sitting, like, look how tall those handles are. Maybe there's other handles that are
Well, there's
hidden.
handles on the inside. There's handles on that strap, on the one side where the.
Oh, there's another set of handles?
There's handles on the sides.
Okay, maybe I'm missing that.
The ones for the top are for kids to stand and help push the kid that's in there, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a multi-user swing.
Oh,
Okay.
so that's why there's like a little step there. You could hold on and you could help them swing.
Right.
Okay.
With that, is this the same company that we used for the All Abilities Park at?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm assuming to Sarah's comment, Councilmember King's comment, did we compare what we already have? Like, are there other elements that we have at the other park that we have again at Ludlow?
Well, there were some things that
Oh, you have to have,
originally
right?
were intended for Memorial Grove that we had to take out because of budget. So a lot of that stuff is here that wasn't there. Now, that is a duplicate, that one swing is a duplicate, but they're, you know, far enough apart that and it's kind of a unique feature. I mean, that would be,
I think
Some
that's only
musical
duplicate.
elements, aren't there? If you, can you go back
That's
up
at
to
the other one.
Oh,
That was proposed for Kiwanis, I think.
Got it.
I don't see any other duplicates. I don't think the spinning feature.
Nope.
The Kiwanis had some duplicates.
Out of curiosity, do you provide the equipment for any of our local schools, the elementary schools? So Ludlow, or Longmeadow has a,
yep,
what is it called? Zip line.
yep, zip.
They love it,
Yep.
love it. So stuff like that's really cool too. I don't know if we could add a zip line one time. Can we put that on the wish list?
That was,
That's-
that was the one.
Probably easy.
We put that in at Longmeadow.
Yeah.
And 2 other schools were like, well, where's ours?
And
We're very
that's what we
competitive.
were talking
Yeah.
about, you know, some of these, if there's like certain unique things that we want, then we can look at, okay, where would it fit? And where do we want it? What site do we want it? And then we can look at putting those in as one-offs.
Yeah, we have to be concerned with space, you know, that's important too. And with accessibility, both of those. Not that you're doing a fully accessible park at, you know, Kiwanis, but you have limited space there. It's not very big.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you can go up high, we have towers and that kind of stuff, but then you kind of are eliminating some of the other kids that would be using that. So you have to balance what what your choices are, I guess.
Does that make sense?
So do you think that maybe the way we could look at this, we're looking at it as two separate motions or voting tonight. So we're comfortable with that. And then I love what you said, that we could look at our budget to add things in. That to me gives us the opportunity to maybe have input on things to be added.
There's this really neat spinner that I wanted to sponsor and put in somewhere, so.
Sponsored by the finance director.
There's some cool stuff in the catalog.
I want this somewhere. in the
Oh, was it the
looks-
climbing spinner?
Yeah.
That can hold like 30 kids?
Doesn't
It's
that
like a
look
triangle, it's like a pyramid.
Well, that sounds
that
like
on
a
our wish list.
lawsuit to me. Sounds like a lawsuit.
The attorney says no.
I wanted to go on that, that looks so cool.
It looked amazing.
Spun it so you flew off.
Mayor Pro Tem Vixen.
Yeah, so, I mean, in listening to this, it sounds like there, a lot of good ideas, but it does sound like in this one, the little one, we are really down the road. I don't think we want to potentially lose out on anything. It sounds like if we want to, we can add things. So maybe for this one, I think we should just go ahead and approve this, and then the next one, we can talk about. But so I guess I'd make a motion that we approve the Ludlow All Abilities Tot Lot Playscape project.
Mayor, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Vixen. Is there a support? Support by Marilyn Trent. More discussion? Anyone?
I guess I'll just say, to kind of round that out, I agree. I don't think a no vote here would be productive, especially since we've already spent money on the designs and things like that. And the grant kind of constrains us. I will say, I hope though that there's some, I guess maybe some future lessons that we could take away from here about how we think more cohesively about the park and the playground equipment. Although, like I said, I don't think we'll be replacing it in my lifetime, but hopefully, maybe, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe,
I think
you have good quality equipment. What was I'm done. Thank you. I'm supporting
I don't
everyone.
even know if we're going to build
All
this
right.
equipment in my lifetime.
Or if we even build it in the lifetime.
Any other comments or discussion? If not, City Clerk.
Jones,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Clauser,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
So that was B. Now we'll go back to A.
Yes. Now we'll go back to the Kiwanis.
So, the only thing I'd say is, Vicki, when you were looking at the designing thing, I know we had questions on that one. Is there anything, do you want to get specific comments to that first, or do you want us to finish from the prior?
Well, I guess we need to discuss if we are, my thought is if we're going to get community and/or city council input, I'm not sure how much discussion we spent tonight on what we'd like to see there. What, Councilmember King or Councilmember Clauser, what do you think? Because I think we've kind of shared how we feel about wanting input. What are your thoughts? Anybody? Council?
I do.
Councilmember
I just have
Hauser?
a question, thank you. So when we were at the asset management meeting, this site came up as something that was pretty critical just for safety.
Yep.
And my concern is the timing. So, and again, I appreciate everything that has been said. You know, I'm certainly not an expert in design, but, you know, are there alternatives that are better? Probably, but from a timing perspective, are we a year out? You know what I'm saying? And so does the equipment that we have there have the lifespan for another year, knowing what we know about the condition? And Nick, I think, like I said, at that asset management meeting, we were talking about it, it's in pretty rough shape. And the last thing I want is someone to get hurt really badly out there over this. And again, there's legitimate arguments and positions on all sides. That's my question, is the timing. If we pass on this, how soon until, are we looking at another year?
And we talked about that in Budget and Finance also. That's why it was brought forward.
Right.
We just never talked about like a deadline on timing, so I guess whoever can address that, Nick or,
Yeah, I mean, there will be no construction during the winter time now.
Right.
So the only reason it was now is just because of the annual price increase, which is gonna happen every year regardless, right? And that doesn't matter who it is. So, if council's, wants to have some more discussion, ignore the increase of the equipment, because that'll happen no matter what, but we wanna get something different in the vision for there, then I would say, as long as we have, it would be nice to get that to still happen during the summer. So even if we spent the next few months to finalize what that looks like, to then have that scheduled and ordered and still put in during the summer, I think we'd be good. I do worry a bit on the age and some of what we're seeing there and the condition of it. The only thing that may happen is if we waited like another year, we may get to a point where we're gonna either have to tape it off or remove it.
Right.
And I don't think we wanna get there. Carl's doing a fantastic job trying to keep this thing going. As much as he can, he's done some amazing work to keep this alive, but it's on
He's performing
very,
triage. Right.
very last minute life support.
So I'm speaking to the experts, so if we did have maybe a little subcommittee or council members that are very interested in input, we take 2 months, come to you, what is your timing then, to hit it, maybe a summer timeline?
Generally speaking, when we are dealing with a project that we're starting from the ground up, you usually have a couple of months minimum in design work, so, with the input and all of that kind of thing. Once you've made a decision, then, getting all the pieces together to order is also it usually takes a few weeks or so. And then you have to consider lead time. Lead time right now is nothing, but when you get into the season, it's going to be, it could stretch to 12 weeks, so. And then we're also dealing with, all the other projects that are going on, because of course, it's Michigan.
Other people are,
so-
yeah, right.
So really and truly, if you were able to, if we could get some designs done and have some decisions made by, probably the beginning of March, you could have something in by June.
Okay, so I guess my next processes involve city manager, how do we move forward with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're fine with that. So we could ask some people to sit in with us with Vicky and let's come up with a different thing. It's far enough away, and I love your natural idea, because look at the Kiwanis shelter. It's natural wood. Look at the band shell, cedar. Look at our comfort station. That feels kind of up northy, right?
Yeah.
So let's change this whole thought process on this one, do something cool like that. And maybe you get your zip line, you get your spinner flyer thing, and good opportunity.
The thing that takes
You better be out there using it, yeah.
No, I will
Tell
not.
Attorney Clark plugs there.
7 council members.
Here we go.
Team building.
Councilmember King.
Question, Vicky, right?
Yes.
You're with Schneider? Snyder, okay, and now, the Burke, is that just like one of the vendors that you work with, or?
The way the playground equipment manufacturers work is they deal with an exclusive representative. So we are the exclusive representative for BCI Burke in Michigan and
Okay.
several other states. We also have access to a couple of others. Now, there's one that I do work with, and it's called ID Sculptures, and it's a very natural sort of product. There's a lot of really cool stuff. It's really expensive, but it's very neat. You can also, plus Burke has a bunch of, they have some tunnels and rocks and, things like that, and they have a clubhouse theme. They've got some stuff that we can make it look more, blend more with the surroundings.
We got the tunnel, we have the
like
microphone.
what we were.
Megaphone.
Megaphone. that we're
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, no,
it's
I
natural.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I assume, correct me if I'm wrong here, we would not be taking a vote on
Correct.
this
We would
tonight.
just- we
This would be
withdraw this.
tabled.
Administration would withdraw this
Didn't we a
item.
motion to table it, wouldn't it?
Do we have to motion to table it? No.
No, because we wouldn't, just because we wouldn't be reconsidering this.
Okay.
It's gonna be
All right.
something
Something
different.
different.
Just-
Does that work for council, everyone?
We'll reach out
And I-
quickly
yeah.
and get us the group together.
And
Yeah, because we
I,
wanna make sure if there's certain groups or input, we wanna form that group and get the notices out there.
so, yeah, I think at this point, maybe we just do this right now. Councilmember King, Councilmember Clauser, you obviously want to be on like a subcommittee to meeting. Yep. And Stuart, is Mayor Pro Tem going to be on there?
I had to. I'm very sorry, but I had to do that. And think of no one more qualified and capable than you to be on the playground
So I think
committee.
we've got our little
Yes.
subcommittee, so I guess the connection will go through city manager then to figure that out. Okay, great. I think, thank you for coming and
But you
explaining.
can't hear what we're talking about, so we can start looking for some stuff, yeah.
We'll add you to our committee.
I am.
Now I've lost my agenda.
Who's on the subcommittee? Who else?
Mayor?
Okay, thank you. I know it's here somewhere. It's just gonna be, a Clauser and King.
Oh, did you have your hand up?
No, yeah,
Oh,
no.
I was just gonna make a suggestion too, or I think that having some sort of visioning session, or like how we did for the skate park, of presenting ideas and getting community input would be important. So I want to hopefully build that into the process.
So if I may, and Nancy, I think you're key to this. When we were up at Elizabeth, you said, get that neighborhood. That's a walkable one. So we focused on that neighborhood. We invited everybody within a half a mile. This is kind of a regional park, so I think we would do what Anthony said. I like the idea, put some signs out and say, if you'd like to get involved, we'll give them a date. We're saying at the community house, we're going to have a visioning session for this and hurry it up. And,
We got a lot of emails with that.
yeah, we did. And I think we could invite people there, because I think the surrounding neighborhood would be City Hall and not that many people. So we could put a QR code up there, something like, get involved. You want to have some input on this? Boom, let's do it. So, okay.
Thank you for your understanding of
Yeah,
the
thank you.
change, and thanks for everyone's input. I think this is a great idea to move this forward. So now we'll go back to the agenda. Thank you. And we are at consideration of the request to accept the DOT grant awarded to the fire department to enhance training capability for incidents involving fuel-fed fires and industrial gas emergencies. The next three are at the fire department. The fire chief could not be here, so city manager is taking.
I got you. So we're going to kind of go, they're all related. Chief John's been working on these for literally for years. He doesn't give up easy when there's grant money involved. So he's gone through very many iterations of trying to get these grants, and they finally all kind of came in at the same time. So he apologizes for not being able to be here tonight. He had a family obligation. So the first one is the consideration of the DDOT grant award to the fire department to enhance training capability. So it's equipment that they'll use for, the memo really outlines everything about having our guys trained for all different kind of circumstances. On this grant, it's $55,000 is the DOT grant. There is no cost sharing from the city. It's just a flat out $50,000. You purchase this equipment for them to be trained at. We use it on our own site. And you can read the memo exactly what the equipment is. So we could do that one separately. I'd appreciate that. And then I'll go over the next two. So we'd be looking for a motion to accept this $50,000.
Yep, I'd like to make a motion to accept the grant for training for the fire department for $55,000.
Support from Councilmember Hauser. Any discussion? City clerk?
Jones.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Clauser.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Salvia.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay, second one is kind of housekeeping. So when the guys come in and the ladies come in from a fire situation, obviously, if you've been around a campfire, you know your clothes smell, right? And they get sweaty and dirty and all good kind of good stuff. So this grant was for a total of $28,603.28 to purchase a machine. It's an extractor. They come back into the fire hall, and then they clean their equipment. On this one, there was a $1,362.06 matching grant. That would come from the miscellaneous fire department budget. So knowing over the years that he was looking for grants, they set aside some money in there for matches if we had. Again, a small match to get the $28,000. Those two numbers added together will get us that equipment. And we're happy that he was successful in getting this. So again, looking for a motion to approve that with knowing the city would put in $1,362.06.
Motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Hauser?
Yes.
Support?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? City clerk?
Jones.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Clauser.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Salvia.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
The last one, this is the one that Chief's been really working on trying to get this. So it's a community risk assessment, which provides the Rochester Fire Department with a structured, evidence-based understanding of the hazards, vulnerabilities, and response challenges that exist across the city. And I read that because that's really the guts of this whole thing. So you're paying for a study. The study's $38,101 that the grant would cover, and then the city's portion would be $1,814.34. And again, this gives us it's kind of like a master plan that guides the fire department, helps us keep our fire rating. And Chief John talks about that a lot, but look at your insurance bill. We get credit for having a certain fire rating in this town. So he was very proud of getting us that next level. Most communities don't have that. This will really help hold that rating for us. So again, he worked on this for 2 years to try to get this to come to fruition. And it really help us distinguish the different risks that the guys are, and when we're going into, versus just kind of go flying by the seat of your pants, quite frankly. They have standards that they follow and standard training, but this lays it out in a guideline book, and everybody's on the same page when you go into a situation.
Just a quick question, if I may, Madam Chair. Nick, can you just remind the public where the city's portion comes from? So when we talk about the $1,800 and the $1,300 in the previous one, where does that money come from?
Yep, so when we build the budget, so in the fire department, they have a miscellaneous number. It's not to go buy donuts, or that would be the police, sorry. Where's Chief George? I can get him, he's not here. It's for things like this, anticipating they're going to look for a grant. They're looking at the 10% to 20% match. So it's a structured guess, I get, if you will, but that line item had enough to cover the 1,800 and the 1,300 presently in this budget that we already approved.
Perfect. That's what I needed.
Not new dollars.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the grant for the Rochester Fire Department in the amount of $38,000. The city's portion is $1,814.34. And I would just like to thank the fire chief as well as all of the staff in the department, keeping them safe with the additional equipment, the training, and this assessment is so important. So really great work by the fire department.
Support. Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? City Clerk?
Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
All right. The final discussion point is request to renew the interlocal agreement with Oakland County for animal shelter services and disposal. I assume it's city attorney? Oh, no.
I'll take that one too, yes.
Okay.
So Chief George, Chief George started this probably in August. They sent us the initial agreement, and it's a annual interlocal agreement for animal services from Oakland County, because we don't have our own shelter in town. The agreement stipulates mutual processes, responsibilities, financial obligations, and terms on termination and cancellation of the agreement. If we didn't like how they were handling our animals that we have to send there, we have the right to terminate. So I know the agreement came in, I think Attorney Kraut looked at it. There was one paragraph that we didn't really like that, sent it back to them, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. They didn't send it back, and about 3 weeks ago, they called and said, hey, did you guys ever sign that? We didn't take it to council because you guys never got it back to us. So they got it back to us. Chief George is asking for us to approve this. I think it allows me to sign this one, if I remember right, or city clerk.
I looked and it's the mayor, but
It's the mayor, okay, yeah, oh, yeah, right, so we didn't, we'll change the mayor once this was approved this way, but Attorney Kraut, you're good?
Yeah, so just one, I guess, correction, it's actually a 3-year contract. There's a typo in there that the dates didn't line up with a 3-year, so that's something that I informed Chief George of, and he's pushed that back to him. So the version that you would be approving is this, with the exception of 2 changes. One is to reflect that it starts October 1 of 2025, not 2026, and it goes for a period of 3 years. The pricing is in there. This is pretty much an identical agreement to the ones that we've done in the past. The last one was a 3-year agreement, I believe, as well. And the costs, of course, go up a few bucks at each line item. But Chief George was satisfied with this once those changes were made, and he will ensure that the one that's circulated for execution is the corrected version.
discussion. Councilmember Clauser?
Oh, I just have 2 quick questions related to some of the fees that were in there. Section 4.8, it says that the county can adjust the fees anytime during the 3 years, as long, it's tied to, I think, I don't have the notes for the exact words, but the general Oakland County salaries increase and they increase our fees. Just curious, has that ever happened? Do we anticipate that happening since they're not locked in for 3 years? Do we know?
I don't know that. That would be more of a finance thing, but I know that there are, as the city manager said, there's outs if we didn't end up liking it. But at this point, I think they just bake that in to cover themselves. But I'm not aware of that they've unilaterally increased it from whatever the contract's been. It's been the same version for a while.
I will say this, though, they say this nicely. So that happened in assessing, and we pulled the plug. It's like, you're not, okay, you want to raise it 35%, we're out. So, and a lot of other communities. So knowing that it was very important to have that, we can terminate them, not just them terminate us. So if that, I don't think it's happened either, but if it did, they did that with the sheriffs, with Rochester Hill. They just hit them with like a lot of percent. So the fact that lets us out, we'd be okay there, so.
And then I just had one other thing on cost. Section 3.6, it talks about how we are responsible for all or any medical and emergency costs for these animals. Curious, is that fluctuate highly year to year? Is that pretty predictable? I'm assuming because there's no cap there or anything that doesn't give us heartburn.
Anthony, you know anything about that one? I don't remember.
It's really as needed.
Yeah.
We don't use it.
Yeah, I think we had a couple deer that we had to take care of, that got hit. Very rare, I can tell you that.
I guess that was my question too. How often is it?
Yeah,
Do we use this?
I can only remember a couple of deer that they had to take to a rehab center.
Councilmember Trent?
Yeah, so do we know how many years? Is this just an ongoing contract? They renew every 3 years? What's happening?
Yeah, and they propose an interlocal agreement to provide services to whatever communities want to jump on.
And this is for wild animals and also pet?
And cats, dogs, strays that they can't locate. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Councilmember King?
Yeah, so the way I read this is it's basically just we pay for usage.
Correct.
Or if a resident uses it from our municipality, if they give up their animal, it still gets charged back to the city, that kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
it's
with our consent.
Oh, with our consent?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's probably
happened
if we're working with them to give,
that question has come up because we don't want people just on their own be able to drop off unwanted animals. So I don't remember exactly how that works but I know that under prior police administration that they monitored that and they just didn't let any residents. So what happens is if residents find it, they actually call us and then the police department ends up housing them for a bit, tries to locate you've seen probably email blast or a Facebook blast, and they try to locate it, and that's actually been pretty successful. But yeah, they of course we have the cat issue, right, is what happens with the cats, and they have not taken that approach they haven't used this contract to handle that issue, so.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah, so that's, I don't think I've heard them do. Now, could they? I mean, if council wanted to, if that ends up being, that's a whole completely different topic. But just this is per animal per day, right? So if it needs to be used more, then it will be used more. But this deals with shelter, housing, euthanizing the animal if appropriate. So that's just broken down by per animal that we use, so.
I do remember the other one. It was a rabid raccoon in the cemetery. You could tell it had rabies, so there's actually a line item here that per animal, you take them there and they'll dispose of them if they have rabies, so. We don't have that capability here, so we use the county.
Councilmember Hauser?
City Attorney, I think the language that we're looking for is 3.7, where it says the municipality must confirm whether each animal is a give-up animal prior to transport. I think that's the language that the city has to confirm before
Correct.
a neighbor just goes or a resident just goes, we have the final say. Is that right, Joe?
That's how I read it as well.
Okay.
Any motions?
So moved.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, support?
I'll support.
And Councilmember Trent. Any other discussion? All right. City Clerk?
Jones,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Klauser,
yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, receiving our reports. The first one is Sister City, and that is Councilmember Trent.
Yes, it was Tuesday, December 9th, another cold day in Rochester, Michigan. Best of times and the worst of times. We welcome new council members, Councilmember Klauser and Councilmember Mark Scalzi from Rochester Hills. They have joined us on in our committee. We also had Maggie Bobbitz, President of the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce, join us, and she presented the parade budget, and it was, and the Memorial Day parade plan and the plan for the day, for the morning. And she included some preliminary parade details. The expenses are low right now. They're less than $3,000 total. So she'll be giving a more detailed breakdown and ask in coming months. We also discussed the RA's proposed Stories Untold programming before a couple of months before the Memorial Day itself, which will consist of 5 posters at 2 parks honoring our local veterans who gave their lives for America. We discussed how to identify families in the area who would want to have these stories told publicly. And our council youth representative, well, not ours, Rochester Hills Youth Representative Council was there. Youth Council Representative Eliza Pizzuti said she could help, and she joins us at our meetings now. And we also discussed Audrey Hinkle, who presented last month who created the honor wall of Rochester area veterans. So we have some ways to find veterans that have current family members or loved ones in the area. We also discussed our guest speakers to contact for next year's meetings. We have guest speakers every other month. That was it.
Thank you. The report from America 250 Steering Committee, is that Councilmember Salvia?
I can take that. I attended that meeting briefly. It was last week. We may really want to fold it into the DDA because really this is a cross-community, really just a coordination committee that was set up kind of pre-America's birthday next year to kind of get the communication going. Christy, through the DDA, is going to coordinate all the forms coming in, so it's not going to be a centralized website. And then really, once that's up and running, I don't even know if she plans to have the committee come together. So I'll just report out that that's happening, and there's going to be events. Literally every organization in our community is going to be having events next year, and there will be a central place. The link will come off of the DDA page. Perfect. Councilmember Trent.
So the Heritage Days Festival that we were meeting has now been dissolved, and it's turned into?
That's a separate committee. That's a separate committee.
Okay, that's where my confusion is.
Yeah, it is confusing.
I wasn't.
All the more reason why I think maybe this one just needs to, we're done.
Which one?
The
America
250.
250 Steering Committee.
Oh, that needs to be done.
Yes.
Okay.
Heritage
all right.
Days, we got to rock and roll.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, that's it for reports. Any other public comment? Megan, any public comment online?
Thank you, no one.
Awesome. All right, there's no general miscellaneous. And we want to start with city clerk. Anything?
this evening, Your Honor.
City manager.
I'm just hoping everybody has a good holiday. We're going to travel next week to Idaho and Texas to do the obligation with the family. So Anthony will be in charge while I'm gone, but I'll be back on the 1st of January. So happy holidays to everybody officially that's watching on TV. And we had a great year, and I think next year's going to be a better year. So I'm excited with the new council, and I think we got a lot of fun things to do. Thank you.
Thank you. City attorney.
Nothing, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'd also like to thank the council, city administration, all the people who serve on the boards and commissions, the people that make our city government go, put in all their hard work and extra time. So I thank everybody for a job well done, and I think the city is doing quite well. So thank you.
Oh, okay, so I have a written one.
I know, I'll rotate around, but yes.
Okay. I just want to thank everyone for a wonderful year of service on this council and for working together in the community to accomplish so much for our city. And of course, I will talk about some projects that I was involved with, from the mini forest and the skate park to our paved path connecting Dinosaur Hill to the municipal park, to newly paved roads downtown and throughout our neighborhoods, and the big bright light show showcasing our award-winning downtown and is shining brighter than ever. Rochester continues to grow and thrive. This is why I'm honored to be able to serve as a city council member and why it remains the best place I've ever lived.
All right, there you go.
And I've lived in quite a few places.
And everywhere.
Yes, I've been
Right.
everywhere.
Councilmember House.
Sure, thank you. I will echo the comments that Stuart and Marilyn made. I think this is a fantastic city council. We have a incredibly great place to live, and it's made possible by the hard work that our city administration and our employees work in that building next door at the DPW and all around the city. We also had a pretty big snow event on Wednesday, and Nick, your guys, I know were out there a lot because I saw them go by several times, so thank you. And I appreciate that there's always going to be a level of expectation that sometimes it's just nature gets in the way of things. But I know that you guys work very hard to make certain that the streets and sidewalks and everything is done to the best of your abilities. And I know it's a little bit of a moving target, but thank you very much for what you guys did. And I wish everyone a very nice, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Councilmember Salvia.
Yep, so just also, this time of year when it's this cold out, I know we had a water main break and it was a very cold day. And so thank you, DPW, for your hard work, Nick Schaefer and all the guys. We're just at the beginning of the winter season, so thank you in advance for all of that. I'd just like to wish everyone happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a happy and healthy New Year.
Councilmember King.
I was just going to say, we also, on RA's board, we have a Rochester Hills Youth Council representative. It's such a cool experience getting to work with them, so I love it. I wish we could borrow them for other things, but it's really cool that they're getting involved, and I love to see the students doing that. I didn't have that type of opportunity, so it's really cool. Just want to wish everyone a happy holidays, and also thank you to everybody who's keeping the streets cleared, and it's going to be a long winter, it seems.
Yeah, it's already been a long winter, it feels like. Councilmember Clauser.
Yeah, I had the first Sister Cities Committee meeting. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to be on that. A couple of thank yous. The cookie stroll, I think that's the DDA, right? Love that activity. Yeah, we go, this is the first year we didn't get a tin. We didn't get one in time, but we were downtown for it, so we saw lots of friends and got bites of their cookies, but great event. Love it.
PSD. Could I just have a little?
PSD.
Principal Shopping District.
PSD, DDA.
Oh,
It's
PSD. Yes, thank you. That's a great event. I love it. I love the cookies. Thank you for the snow removal. Thank you for the Elizabeth Street water main break. That was a terrible, terrible temperature. I think it was 13 degrees. So thank you to all of the staff and folks that are working to keep our city safe. And then last, shout out to Ludlow and all the wonderful neighbors and community members for winning the neighborhood light fight.
They won again.
Super exciting. They get to have a neighborhood block party, so they're looking forward to that. I know they're very excited, so thank you again for, I think that one's the DDA, right? That puts on the neighborhood life foot? Yes, so thank you to the DDA. And then just a sincere thank to everyone, the residents, council members, staff, all the volunteers, boards, commissions, for all the things you do for Rochester. I wish everyone happy, healthy, and a peaceful year ahead.
Very good. I'm gonna, happy for everybody. Everybody's already said it, so only a couple things. One, boards and commissions are being worked on. We also have some interviews that are going on for the empty seat on Planning Commission, so hopefully everyone's reaching out to those 3 applicants. We will, in the next couple meetings in January, fill all the positions that are open. And then when you mentioned that about having youth, we are looking into trying to figure out what boards or commissions we could have a youth representative. I think there's a huge opportunity. There's a Stony Creek or an Adams student that has been for 6 months now asking me, how can I get involved? What can I do? So I'm hoping we can figure something out. The Elizabeth Park grant, I just want you to talk a minute, and then I just want to say, building on what Councilmember Salvia said, we are really, really blessed about the amount of grants that the city gets. So we are grateful to the fire chief and the police chief and Elizabeth Park.
Yep. So we did this summer, after the Parks Master Plan, we had a charrette out there and designed the park. We had McKenna draw it up. It was like over $1 million. The initial look at it. So Jason and the team, we got together and they applied for a grant. The source is, Jason, what's not TAP?
DNR Trust Fund.
DNR Trust Fund.
It's the DNR Trust Fund.
So last weekend, Jason went up with Linda Kirksey, who is our grant writer, and I don't know where you were supposed to go, but smartly Joe said, don't drive in that weather. It was horrible weather that day. And they finished their
Not want me driving in.
He wouldn't want him to go, yep. So the plea was entered. It got on great ears in this committee, and they awarded us $375,000 grant for Elizabeth Park. So yay is right. So we'll work with that community and then get it designed out, get it bid out, and that's very, very exciting. And that one's gonna be totally different. I think there are barbecue grills in there, and it's more of the people that live right there. We're not building a parking lot, no money wasted on that. It'll be the actual improvements to Elizabeth Park, so we're fired up for that. That's a great grant.
And this is through the MNIF fund and the DNR, no?
No.
Land truck, the truck.
I've got it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's the land
So,
truck.
so while we're remembering the name, we really need to thank Linda Davis Kirksey, our grant writer. Jason was awesome as well. But Linda gave me the story where they're all ranked, and we moved up in the rankings. But then when they got there and they made the public comments, Jason made the public comments, he read it into the record, then the commissioner pulled ours and said, we've got a couple $1 million left. We want to fund the Rochester Elizabeth Park. And it's because people like Linda knows everyone on the board. And so really, she does a great job for the city of Rochester.
Yeah, we are very grateful.
Very
for that.
thankful.
And this won't be clawed back.
No.
No.
No, that will not be. All right, that's everything. Everybody here, if you want to join at Joe Bologna's right as soon as we're done with here, and I'll buy that first cocktail. And it's 8:20, and we are adjourned.
All right.
Wow, I didn't realize I